Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Bloodfather. Let's get straight into the storyline. The movie opens with a young girl named Lydia. One morning, she goes to a gun shop to buy guns and bullets for her boyfriend, Jonah. Jonah is part of a dangerous gang led by a man called El Padrino. After buying the weapon, Lydia, Jonah, and two other gang members head to a house where someone is accused of stealing money from El Padrino. The house belongs to a family, a father, mother, and their 3 sons. Shortly after the group arrives, gunshots ring out from inside. Lydia, who isn't used to seeing her boyfriend act violently, is shocked when she hears the sound of breaking glass as Jonah fires his gun outside. The 3 boys, who were playing in the yard, quickly run to hide inside the house. Lydia sees Jonah has shot the father, and now he's angrily questioning the wife, demanding to know where the stolen money is.
Fucking daycare center out there.
That's a fucking lie.
Scared and trembling, the wife insists she has no idea about the missing money, while the other 2 gang members search the house. Lydia, feeling upset and uncomfortable, begs Jonah not to harm the woman. Jonah, ignoring her, tells Lydia to prove her loyalty by shooting the woman with the gun she's holding.
This is how you prove it.
Lydia is terrified and can't bring herself to pull the trigger. Jonah keeps pressuring her, but in her panic, Lydia accidentally shoots Jonah in the chest.
No!
Realizing the horrible mistake she's made, she runs away, desperate to escape the chaos. The scene then shifts to John Link, an older man who is Lydia's father. That day, John is at a support group, sharing a story about his time as a soldier in the U.S. military. He also talks about how he spent 7 years in prison for accidentally killing someone while he was drunk. John is at the meeting with his close friend Kirby, who served with him in the military. They have a strong bond, like family. It is revealed that John has been divorced for a while and now lives alone in an old camper van. After leaving the military, he became a tattoo artist, but his life feels lonely since he rarely sees his daughter anymore. Not long after, John receives a phone call from Lydia. She tells him she's leaving her home and urgently needs $2,000 to find a place to live and get a job. In reality, Lydia is trying to escape Jonah's friends, but she hides the truth from her father to keep him safe. Worried sick about his daughter, John agrees to give Lydia the money and assures her she will get it as soon as possible. Even though he doesn't have the funds at the moment, he senses Lydia is in serious trouble and nothing matters more to him than helping her. Lydia asks him to meet her at a bar in Santa Monica, California, and pick her up. After their call ends, John immediately jumps into his car and begins the long drive to the location she mentioned. The next day, after hours on the road, John finally reaches the bar. Shortly after, Lydia approaches, looking tired and scared. She quickly gets into the car, her face showing signs of exhaustion from constantly hiding from Jonah's associates. As soon as they are on their way, Lydia, completely worn out, falls asleep in the car. When they arrive at John's place, he gently carries Lydia inside and lays her down on a bed to rest. After making sure she is comfortable, John takes a look inside her bag and finds drugs, alcohol, and a gun. Disturbed by what he sees, he immediately disposes of the drugs and alcohol and safely hides the gun. It becomes clear to him that Lydia has gotten involved in a dangerous world, and this realization weighs heavily on his heart. When Lydia wakes up, the first thing she asks about is the money she requested. However, John explains that he still doesn't have it. Angry and feeling betrayed, Lydia lashes out at him. Despite her frustration, John tries to calm her down and suggests she stay with him for a while until she can get back on her feet. Lydia hesitates, afraid that staying too long will put her father in danger. She tells John that her boyfriend is dead, but leaves out the fact that she was the one who killed him. By this point, John has already noticed the wanted posters featuring Lydia's face, making it clear that she is being hunted by the police. He suggests she stay with him for at least a week while he works on getting the money together. Later that afternoon, John reaches out to his old friend Kirby, asking if he can borrow some money, but Kirby refuses, suspecting that Lydia will spend it on drugs. Instead, He advises John to get Lydia psychiatric or medical help, believing she is under the influence of something harmful.
You need help with this, John.
In the evening, a group of men arrives at John's place, pretending to be there for tattoos. However, John quickly realizes they are not there for business. They are a threat to Lydia.
Yeah. Want tattoo?
I'm not open. Nah, come back tomorrow.
That's some Nazi shit on my arm.
Sensing danger, John hurries to secure the house, doing everything he can to protect his daughter. A tense confrontation breaks out, and John has to fight back to defend both himself and Lydia. The situation escalates when one of the attackers smashes the windows of John's camper van, trapping them inside.
See, I missed him for you. On the inside, you chicken shit motherfucker! Hang on.
I'm gonna get you, motherfucker!
Just when things seem hopeless, Kirby and a few of his friends show up. Their arrival, with more people on John's side, scares off the attackers, who flee the scene.
I'll see you, alright?
Realizing how serious the danger is, John wastes no time. He takes Lydia and quickly leaves, driving out of town that very night to find a safer place. During the drive, Lydia finally opens up to John about what had really happened. She confesses that she accidentally shot Jonah while trying to retrieve stolen money that belonged to El Padrino. Jonah's death has put her in a dangerous position, with both his criminal associates and the police hunting her down.
I just turned and I pulled the trigger. And I killed him.
You killed the boy, the guy.
Yes.
Later that night, John and Lydia find a small motel where they can rest for a while. Despite her exhaustion, Lydia can't sleep, so she steps outside to get some fresh air. While outside, she starts talking to a young man working at the reception desk. Their conversation is cut short when news flashes on the motel's television, showing Lydia's face and announcing that she is wanted by the police. Realizing the motel had already alerted the authorities, Lydia rushed back to John, urging him to gather their things quickly.
The lights were probably being watched.
Fred, hurry.
However, when they tried to leave, they saw several police officers outside, blocking their way. Just as it seemed like there was no escape, the young man from the lobby decided to help them. He led Lydia and John to a hidden spot in the motel, giving them a chance to avoid capture for the time being. While hiding in an empty room, John carefully peeked through the window to see what was happening. He spotted two policemen getting closer, dangerously close to discovering their hiding spot. Just as the tension grew, a gunshot echoed from a distance, and the officers fell to the ground. Seizing this moment of distraction, John and Lydia quickly fled, taking a car that belonged to a motel guest.
Who the fuck is that?
However, a mysterious figure began chasing them, firing bullets and nearly killing them. Fortunately, they managed to escape and sped off into the night.
Wasn't some gangbanger, baby. That was a Sicario. Cartel soldier.
The next day, John reached out to an old friend from prison named Jack, hoping he could help figure out who was after Lydia. Jack, who used to be a mafia boss with a lot of underworld connections, agreed to assist them. After that, John and Lydia set off for another city, using whatever transportation they could find along the way. Eventually, they arrived at a bar in Montana where John hoped to meet an old military friend, Tom Harris, who owed him a favor. At the bar, things didn't go as planned. The bartender, mistakenly thinking Lydia was Johan's partner, refused to give them any information about Tom. Frustrated with the lack of cooperation, John stepped outside to call Kirby for advice. While John was gone, Lydia cleverly charmed the bartender, eventually convincing him to give up Tom's address.
I got the address.
Armed with the address, John and Lydia hitched a ride from a stranger and headed to Tom's place. When they arrived, John demanded the money and his Harley motorcycle that Tom had borrowed years ago. But to their disappointment, Tom regretfully explained that the money was gone. That evening, Tom invited a few members of his motorcycle club over to his house to catch up with John. After the gathering, John and Lydia decided to spend the night at Tom's place, hoping for better luck the next day. The next morning, Tom and his wife turned on John and Lydia, threatening them with guns.
Hey, baby. Wake up, rise and shine.
It became obvious that Tom and his wife knew they were wanted by the police and planned to hand them over for a $30,000 reward.
Yeah, well, 30 G's will fill a lot of holes around here.
Feeling betrayed, John quickly reacted, knocking the gun out of Tom's wife's hand and turning it on Tom. He angrily demanded the return of his money and Harley. Despite his fury, John couldn't bring himself to kill Tom, remembering their past friendship.
Kill you for it. You even stole that from me.
After retrieving the money and his motorcycle from Tom's house, John and Lydia wasted no time and left immediately. Their escape didn't go unnoticed, as Tom sent several men after them to capture them. A dangerous chase ensued, with gunfire exchanged between John and the men. Using a weapon he had taken from Tom earlier, John fought back, managing to defeat Tom's henchmen in a tense shootout. The following day, John and Lydia decided they needed to change their appearances to avoid being recognized. John shaved off his beard and mustache, while Lydia dyed her hair a different color, hoping to stay one step ahead of their pursuers. Later, John visited Jack in prison to gather more information about the mafia chasing Lydia. Thanks to Jack's connections, they discovered that the people after Lydia were Jonah's associates along with El Padrino's men. In a surprising twist, it was revealed that Jonah was the real thief who had stolen El Padrino's money. The incident at the beginning of the story was actually part of Jonah's plan to frame others and cover his tracks. He intended to eliminate everyone involved to remove suspicion from himself. However, when Lydia accidentally shot Jonah while he was about to kill someone, El Padrino wrongly believed Lydia was responsible for the theft.
Stay loose, bro.
Get loose.
Doing my best.
Meanwhile, Lydia, still hiding in a motel, received an urgent call from Kirby. He warned her that El Padrino's men had tracked her location and urged her to get to a crowded area immediately. Acting quickly, Lydia left the motel and found refuge in a busy movie theater, hoping the crowds would keep her safe. But to her horror, it was all part of a trap.
Turn around.
Jonah, who was supposed to be dead, was alive and had orchestrated the setup, seeking revenge on Lydia. Realizing she was in grave danger, Lydia tried to escape, but Jonah's men were waiting for her and captured her. At the same time, John had just returned from meeting Jack in prison and tried to contact Lydia, but she didn't answer. Growing increasingly worried, he reached out to Kirby to find out what was going on. That's when John received devastating news. Jonah had captured Lydia and killed Kirby.
I did my best.
Enraged by the loss of his best friend and his daughter being in danger, John set out to confront Jonah directly. Jonah, now desperate to cover his tracks, threatened to kill Lydia to ensure that his crimes remained hidden from El Padrino. But John had a plan of his own. He warned Jonah that if he harmed Lydia, he would expose Jonah's betrayal to El Padrino.
Baby, I'm coming for you. Have a little faith.
That's it.
Before facing Jonah, John made a detour to Tom's place to collect grenades, knowing he'd need heavy firepower against Jonah and his men. However, Tom, standing in John's way, refused to help, forcing John to kill him in a desperate fight.
Hey, that mile marker 114. Head north into the desert.
When John finally arrived at the meeting point, he raised his hands to show he was unarmed.
Nice and slow.
Lydia?
Jonah, suspicious but willing to talk, allowed John to see Lydia, who was tied up in the back seat of a car. Jonah's men were preparing to kill them both, and were about to move John's Harley motorcycle out of the way. But as they touched it, a massive explosion went off, It was a grenade John had hidden inside the bike. Seizing the moment, John launched himself into action, fighting Jonah and his men inside the car. The battle was fierce, but John's determination to save his daughter gave him the edge. After a brutal struggle, John managed to defeat Jonah and his gang. He quickly freed Lydia from her restraints, and together they escaped from the danger that had been closing in on them for so long. Though John and Lydia managed to escape in Jonah's abandoned car, Jonah himself survived and fled. However, their relief was short-lived, as they soon came under attack again. This time from a sniper hired by El Padrino, hidden in the hills. A shot rang out, hitting John and causing him to collapse. Bleeding and weakened, John realized there was no way out. Knowing his time was short, John made the ultimate sacrifice to protect Lydia. With his strength fading, he looked at his daughter one last time, his eyes filled with love and sorrow.
You sure are a good girl. Sure are. You sure?
Lydia held him tightly, tears streaming down her face, as John took his final breath in her arms. Moments later, the police arrived, capturing Jonah and putting an end to the violent chase. The movie concludes with a scene of Jonah locked up in prison. As he sits in his cell, he is confronted by Jack and his allies, hinting that Jonah's troubles are far from over, and the harsh realities of prison life are just beginning.